Hi friends, Sarah here with The Holy Mess. This is the Faith Over Fear series, day 22. 22 days! We are rocking this, you guys. So many of you have been following me and watching these videos every single day. Thank you so much. I know there will be people later who watch this video later on Facebook, on Instagram, TV, on YouTube, and you're watching all of them. I just thank you, and I know that God will continue to bless you as you read and study His Word. Today we are looking at Job 42 verses 1 through 3. And here's what it says. Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No plan of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is this that obscures my counsel without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. And I love that this verse talks about God's plans cannot be thwarted. And to thwart something is to prevent something from happening, to knock it off course. It is impossible for you to ruin God's plans. And I don't know about you, but I find that such a relief because I mess things up all the time. I make mistakes. I fall into habitual sins over and over again. I say things, open mouth, insert foot. Really wish I could take back. I do so many things, but this verse is such an encouragement to me that I can't mess up God's plans because He has plans for my life. When we were making a decision, my husband's a pastor, and his first call to a church was in Indiana. We were in Anderson, Indiana at Christ Lutheran Church there. And really we're loving our ministry there, enjoyed our life there. We had just bought a house. We had 2 little ones. And he received a call to a church in Colorado. And when we first got the call, we just laughed. We were like, oh, haha, Colorado, we're not going to Colorado. Funny how God does things when we laugh, right? We had no interest in taking a call. We weren't pursuing it. We weren't, we were quite happy with where we were. But as we started to learn more and more about the church in Colorado, we were really felt that pull of God pulling us to go. A larger church, some different ministry options. And, God was telling us to go. And my husband was just feeling so conflicted and just didn't know. He felt really quite called to our church in Indiana, and he felt quite called to our church in Colorado. And he was speaking with his pastor, Pastor Hinkey, who was my husband's pastor growing up and, became such a mentor for my husband. And he said, you're worrying too much about this. It's going to be fine either way because God is in control. You are following God's plans. You're doing the best that you can. And God says He'll work all things for good. So if you choose to stay in Colorado, it'll be good. And if you choose to move to if you choose to stay in Indiana, it'll be good. And if you take the call to Colorado, that'll be good. And that was such a relief to us. And as I'm sure many of you know, we did take the call to Colorado, and so many things happened there. We had a wonderful 16 years of ministry there, loved our church there, loved the people there, loved living there. It's an absolutely gorgeous place to live. We hiked, we climbed 14ers, we did so many things, and we adopted 2 of our boys there. We were foster parents there. I lost 100 pounds while I lived there. I did triathlons while I was there. So just no question that was all part of God's plan for us. But it's reassuring to know that God's plans would have been fulfilled. It would have looked different. It would have seemed different. But yet somehow God's plans would have been fulfilled no matter what we decided. Another way this is really reassuring to me is to recognize that you cannot fail as you move toward becoming who God wants you to be. I work with many women through our Faithful Finish Lines program, which is our Christian online weight loss program that I run together with my business partner, Becky. I've lost 100 pounds. She's lost 100 pounds. And now we guide other women in a Christian weight loss program. And so many times they come in or they debate even joining struggling because they feel like they failed. So many times they feel like they've tried to lose weight and they've failed. And we really encourage them to think of that a different way. It's not failure. Even if the number on the scale is the same or even if it's higher, each time you go about changing something about yourself, especially in the area of spiritual growth, you learn. You grow and you learn, and God uses those experiences. So it's not a failure. Lots of times before I lost weight the final time, I lost weight and I gained the weight back. And you could say that I failed, but I don't think of it that way because every single time I learned things, and then I applied that when I lost weight the final time. And so the same is true for you. You cannot thwart God's plans. You don't have that type of power, and thank goodness you don't. Thank goodness I don't. God's plans will be fulfilled, and you are not failing. If you are trying something, you attempt it, you fall down, it just means you fell down, and now you can get back up, but it's impossible to fail. So I encourage you today that God's plans for your life will not be thwarted. The decisions you make, it's going to be okay. And things that maybe you feel like you've fallen down so many times and you failed, you really haven't. You cannot thwart God's plans for you. His plans will come to fruition. All right. Thank you so much. Again, this is the Faith Over Fear series. You can get the free printable at theholymess.com. You can also get the 30-day Bible reading notebook, which many of us are using for this. I'm using it every single morning. Mine's getting a little dog-eared, but I take that as a good sign, right? It's like a well-worn Bible that we are getting so much out of this. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. What's a decision maybe you have to make, an area where you are feeling unsure, you don't know God's guidance for you, or maybe something where you feel like you failed, and share that with us in the comments. And remember that God's plans are so much bigger. There's nothing that you can do that will make his plans not come to fruition and not happen. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye-bye.